All right, our guest speaker for today is State Senator Tom A. Wright. Senator Wright was elected to the Senate in 2018. He represents District 14, which consists of parts of Brevard and Volusia counties. He currently serves as chair of the Senate Committee on Military and Veteran Affairs and Space, and this is perfect for him. He also serves on 4 additional committees: the Committee on Children, Families, and Elder Affairs, Commerce and Tourism, Environment and Natural Resources, and the Joint Administrative Procedures Committee. Growing up in Minnesota, Senator Wright always was an entrepreneur. He started in business for himself at age 23. He grew many various companies to successful futures. In his 50s, he became more involved in serving others as his abilities and resources provided. Throughout his personal life, Senator Wright has dedicated the time and effort to provide support on issues related to our veterans, to eliminate the domestic abuse of women, children, and adults. Now, as a state senator, he strives to make a positive difference in our great state of Florida. Senator Wright moved to Florida in 2004 with his lovely wife, Cindy, and they live in New Smyrna Beach. Ladies and gentlemen, State Senator Tom A. Wright.
That was pretty good. I like it. Who wrote that, Eli? Eli's one of my aides. You know, being the senator, I have 7 aides. Can you imagine? Plus a wife. Is there any sympathy for me? No, none whatsoever. Well, anyway, as we all know, Memorial Day is a very special day for all of us that are here. It's important that we use this opportunity not only to reflect, but to remember and support those around us. But more importantly, remember those who are not with us because of the sacrifices they made for our country. You know, it's said the United States of America is coined as the land of the free and the home of the brave. But perhaps it might really be called the land of the free because of the brave. Veterans are so special to me, and I'm honored to be here today, and I want to share some of the great things as a legislature that we were able to do this past session for our military. And as Rod Phillips said, yes, I am the chairman of the Military Veterans and Space Committee. I'm really honored to have been selected by our President Galvano to be the chairman of that committee. I'm a freshman, and I've never served in politics before, so they're shaping me and molding me. And hopefully I don't lose sight of why I like to help our veterans. So I'm honored to be as the chair of the Military Veterans Space Committee. We have a lot of bills that come across our desks. We had over 3,000 between the House and Senate. We had over 3,000 bills that were proposed this year, which is too many. But anyway, we had them. And a lot of them that come across the desk, we have to just say, no, they can't go there. But we also want to make sure that the ones that we choose, we feel will be the best solution for not only our veterans, but for the citizens of Florida. And we want to help not only our currently active members, but our former military members. Some of the issues that we've been making their way to the governor's desk as soon as he gets back from his little trip, we're like, come on back, sign the budget, let's get going. But I'm very proud to support several of these bills. And the first one I want to talk about is my favorite bill. I don't know if any of you have heard me talk before to veterans groups about hyperbaric chamber treatments. Hyperbaric chamber treatments, my wife and I discovered a few years ago, were very beneficial for veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. So this bill that we proposed and got through both the House and Senate is called Alternative Treatment Options for Veterans. And it's just waiting the governor's signature, which I'm confident he'll sign. It allows a Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, which is now led by Captain Danny Burgess, who served us in the Florida Reserves, and I'm proud to say he's one of my good friends, who tried in the House several times to get this bill passed. So he is jumping up and down for joy that we do now have this passed. The alternative treatments that we're going to be studying include hyperbaric chamber treatments, equine horses, canine companions, music therapy, and another treatment called alternative laser treatments. We've applied for also appropriations of $200,000 to carry out the study, and we have been awarded that $200,000. So this good bill was passed unanimously by both our members of the House and the Senate. And I'm just so proud that it did. I want to tell you a little bit about hyperbaric chamber treatments, just in case you don't know. Hyperbaric chamber treatments what we've done, and my wife and I have paid for 8 veterans so far that have suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. And these have all been males. All of them have been married, some with children. In every case, they were no longer allowed to live with their wife, and no longer, in some cases, to even see their children because of the effects of PTSD. After the 40 treatments, in every case, every woman said, "Thank you for giving my husband back," because the symptoms are gone. It's amazing. And what really gets me is the little guys and gals that have come up to me and my wife and said, "Thanks for giving my daddy back." It's like, are you kidding me? We'll do that all day long. So the process is 40 dives. They take 40 dives to give you a little idea of what happens. They take 41-hour dives. They go into a hyperbaric chamber, which is clear in the top half. So if you're like me with claustrophobia, thank God for the clear half, because I couldn't be in that tube otherwise. And you're in there for an hour. You're saturated in 100% oxygen, and you're at a depth equal to about 2 fathoms. So you're about equal pressure, about 30 feet below the top of the surface of the water. And you take 40 of these dives. You can take a maximum of 2 per day. And after those 40 dives, the symptoms are gone. In addition to knowing the symptoms are gone, we actually scan the brain of each veteran beforehand, and we scan the brain of each veteran afterwards. And there are definite differences in the brain scans. So I'm hoping that when we get done with these little 5 alternative treatment programs, our testing, that will probably say hyperbaric chamber treatments are the ones that we're going to go with. So anyway, that's exciting for me. We have 275,000 veterans suffering from PTSD. And lo and great, we get them down to 0. So I'm wearing my little band today that was given to me by an organization that's trying to stop the suicides in our veterans. And some people want to argue over whether it's 20 or 22 a day. It's 20 or 22 too many. So we've got to work on that. And I think helping with the PTSD is also going to help our veterans that are doing this to not want to do this anymore. We had a call that came into my Senate office 2 months ago from a gentleman that was in Brevard County in my district, and he told our office people that he was done, it was over, today was the last day, and he was checking out. And I dispatched an Army veteran from Port Orange to see him. He's still with us today. He just needed another veteran to talk to. So I think you guys can take good care of yourselves. So moving on, we also passed what's called the Compact Bill. It's called the Interstate Compact Educational Opportunity for Military Children. And some of you may not even be aware that that exists, but it has to do with our currently serving military families. And in the state of Florida, we have over 39,293 children that are going to our schools that are children of currently serving military members. And because they are serving in the military, as you probably will remember, sometimes you get moved often. And we find that these people, these families move 3 times more often than civilian families. And when they move, and those children get moved about to different school systems, this can cause them problems. They get left behind, they get forgotten about. So, we, once again, the Senate and the House approved unanimously to support the Compact program. The Compact creates a streamlined process of sorting out different states' requirements regarding age, graduation, academic placement, testing, and extracurricular activities. And so all 50 states belong to this Compact, including the District of Columbia. And I think, I don't have it in my notes here, but I think it's important to note that of these 39,293 children, it costs us taxpayers $1.15 per student for the whole year. I think that's the best money we can spend to make sure those children don't fall behind because mom and dad are serving us today. Yeah. So anyway, this bill will come up again in 2022, and I expect that it will be renewed as it is every time it comes out. Another legislation that was passed, Senator Gaynor was the senator from the Panhandle that brought this to our attention. It's called court-ordered treatment programs. Some of you, and I recognize some of you ladies, go to the Volusia County Military Veterans Court. We have a Veterans Court here in Daytona. We have a Veterans Court also in DeLand. Not all states have Veterans Courts. And so sometimes these veterans, and I've had the honor of being present at some of these Veterans Courts, some of these individuals are suffering from PTSD, TBI. They're even homeless. and they've been kicked out of places, they've been trespassed, and the next thing you know, they have a warrant for their arrest, for God's sakes. And they go into a regular court, sometimes it's not a pretty sight. They go into our military court, and they're treated with honor, dignity, and respect. And we help through it. I happen to be on the board of directors of the Halifax Urban Ministries, and sometimes we take those veterans there and give them just a little love and a place to stay until we can get this cleaned up for them. So I'm really proud that we've got this program. So now every state now will be, as of July, will be, or every county will be required to have a veterans court where a veteran can say, I want to go to the veterans court. Girls have been there. Ladies. Yeah. I recognize you there. Yeah. What else should we talk about? I'm going to go off script because I want to talk about something. When I see all you members here today and I see our veterans, I see predominantly veterans from the Vietnam era and past. And for some reason, we're not getting the Gulf War veterans, the Iraqi veterans, the Afghanistan veterans, to join the organizations that you all belong to. And I think if we could figure out a way collectively to help these other military members to join your organizations, we might have another attempt at stop wearing these bracelets. We might have another way for veterans to talk to veterans. My wife and I love our veterans, and I have given out over 1,800 of these coins that I buy and I give to veterans, simply thanking them for their service. And I'll tell you a little funny story. Recently I had a veteran say, you don't need to thank me. You really don't. I got my education in the service. I met my bride in the service. We have these children in the service. So don't thank me, I won. He's a proud man. He was really great. But the reason I tell you about these coins is that these coins here are a way for us to connect with veterans. And when the veterans talk to me, they will open up to me, even though they don't normally talk to strangers. And I think that's maybe one of the things that we could do collectively, is to help the younger veterans to open up, to share with you what's bothering them, to take away some of their anxiety, and hopefully get them to join some of the clubs that when I go to a pancake breakfast or some other event where they're trying to raise a few dollars to keep the doors open, I don't see any young veterans there. So anyway, it's just an idea for thought. I appreciate you listening to me today, and I thank you all for all your service and for everyone that's here. Thank you.
We have a question.
How do the veterans find out about the veterans court? I mean, if they're out on the street, how is that? So this is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a good question. Oftentimes, I think Rod's been involved. Rod's been involved. A gentleman by the name of Don Lepore, who some of you may know that I've interacted with quite a bit at the Emery L. Bennett VA Nursing Home. I've been to two, at least, of the homeless veterans stand-downs here in Volusia County. Have any of you ever heard of them? Well, there's been a veterans stand-down the first Saturday of October every year. And I kind of kid them a little bit because we're talking about homeless veterans that all show up. They don't get the paper.
Okay.
They don't get the newspaper. They don't get the radio. We sent it out on Facebook. No, so I don't know how they find out really, but somehow they communicate amongst each other. But it's something that we can do to promote it, certainly, and to make sure that people know about it. I brought with today, I had her ask that question so I could bring this up now. But I brought with some flyers, welcome to take. There's not enough for everybody. And it talks about the things that happened in the Senate this year that I think are important to all of us. Some of them, of course, in the front page are things I was involved with. Some of them are things that Representative Leak was involved with. And so this is something you can take. But it's a good question. The courts will know. The actual court systems will know. And I think, given all of our judicial system credit, if a veteran comes in and says, I'm a veteran, they should say, oh, you can take this to Veterans Court if you like, and allow them that opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate your